Hi, everybody. It is Melanie Pierce. I work for Royal LePage Triland here in London, Ontario, and I'm here to interview my friend Kate. So, Kate, I want you to introduce yourself. Tell me who you work for, what your areas are, and what is your bread and butter, commercial, residential, that kind of spiel. Go.
Sure, sure. So I'm Kate Stenton. I work for Royal LePage Peifer Realty in Chatham. I service Chatham-Kent area, gone Windsor, Essex, and then Mel and I met when I went London, Middlesex way. Um, I would say my bread and butter. Um, I really stick with residential resale, but I have a soft spot for first-time home buyers. I think, it's so exciting and there's so many emotions and like they're a sponge, right? They're ready to just take in all that knowledge. So I love to be a part of that process for them because everybody remembers the first house they bought
The
and what
first
that was
one.
like. So yeah,
Yeah.
I like to be a part of that. So
I
yeah.
love first time buyers. I really truly do. That is a sweet spot for all of us. And I think it's just because, you're just giving the information and there's a sparkle in their eyes and that's lovely. It's warm, right? It feels so warm and lovely to do that. It's
Well,
hashtag
and there's
all
just so
good.
much trust that they put in you.
Yeah,
Um, And I think, yeah, being that trusted advisor for them and what you don't know, you don't know. So there's so many questions and things that they have no idea about. So it's great to be able to guide them and educate them every step of the way. So yeah, I'd say that's probably where my niche would be right now.
right on, right on. So how many years you been doing this?
3 years, April 1st. April Fool's Day.
April Fool's Day. How many years? Sorry,
Yeah.
I missed
April 1st,
the
2022.
2022. Oh, wow. I didn't
Yeah.
realize you were that fresh.
I am that fresh. Yeah. I
That's
came
so funny
into
because I feel
market.
like I've known you a long time.
I know. I feel it too. And I was saying to some people at the brokerage today too, I'm like, Mel. Um, yeah, I mean, it has been a fast 3 years, that's for sure. And when I came into real estate in 2022, I have a huge supportive team at my brokerage, but like the market was bananas. So I'm coming into, so many competing offers, clean offers, there's no conditions. So as much as it slowed down, I have really enjoyed just learning the ins and outs of a transaction and negotiating and what that looks like. Because when I first came into real estate, that was not what was happening. So
No,
now it
no.
takes a lot of heavy lifting and legwork to get a deal to the final end.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's so interesting because both markets had their stresses and you know, those moments where you just go, ah,
yeah,
and that busy time was very much like that. It was like we were just, I mean, why sleep? Sleep is, sleep when you're dead. I mean, that's the time we had, really, in all honesty. That's amazing to start at that time and then have to learn how to kind of put all the clauses and negotiations
yep.
into the deal. Like that's
It's kind of like when you're thrown to the sharks, right? Like just go do it. Here, you got your license, away you go.
that's
But like I said,
crazy.
I
So
have
what do
huge
you,
support from the
yeah,
staff at the brokerage
yeah, I
too.
mean, your office is fantastic. I know some people out there and I think they're all like warm my heart. Like they're always very good to me and I hope I'm the same back to them. I hope they feel that. So what do you think what do you attribute your success to? Is there something that you do that you think, I really cling on to this because this works for me?
I think routine and consistency, like we just said, sleep when you're dead. So when I first came into it, it was like craziness trying to get everything in order. So
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
think success has come for me when I realized everything needs to slow down if I'm consistent and follow a routine to the best, right? Like schedules change
Yeah.
and things happen. Um, I find a big support system I've had as well is my husband and my family. So my previous career, I worked in the education system and I worked with kids with high needs, kids with autism,
Yeah.
which loved the job. Huge skill set I got from that, but it was, 9 to 4, weekends off, holidays off, summers off, March break off. So it was a big change for my family to understand that like I'm just not home. I'm gone.
Yeah.
So my husband picked up the slack and the kids understood and got it. So their support system, I think, has really helped with my success too. And, just you go do it, Mom. You you go
Which
figure
is
it out.
awesome. Yeah, because you guys
Yeah.
have quite a large group there right now, right?
Yeah.
The numbers are what's the total number of the family right now?
So I'm in a blended family, and then I
Yeah.
have three girls. So Vivian is 14, Charlotte is going to be 12, and Victoria next week turns 11.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, three
Well,
girls
that's
is
good. So a total of five then.
yeah,
And
yeah. And then we got a new puppy. Why not throw that in the mix around
oh,
Christmas as
nice.
well?
What's your puppy's name? What kind of puppy is he? Now I'm really
His name is Murphy,
uh,
and he's kind of I don't know where he is right now, sleeping. He's a mixed breed. I would say she said Shih Tzu, so Shih Tzu and Poodle mix.
mm-hmm.
I think there's some Pomeranian in him. He's pretty fluffy.
Okay,
Pretty
interesting.
fluffy.
Yeah, I mean sometimes it doesn't work exact, right? So
Yeah.
they don't necessarily look exactly the way you think they're going to. But I mean they all turn out they're like kids, right? They all turn out differently, you
Oh,
know.
he's my baby. Yep, he's my baby, but he's a stinker.
How long
So,
have you had them?
no, he'll be 5 months. We've had him since December.
Hmm.
So only a couple months now.
Oh, very cool. Very nice.
Yeah.
Fresh, new. A lot
Yep.
of work at that point. Um, so I have a question. In the past, have you had any deals that you would describe as being like over the top, wonderful, exciting, emotional, really bad, like questionable, like situations? You have a story to tell. Give us a story.
Okay. Well, there's lots that I could tell. I guess I'm thinking of one that's fresh and was the most emotional was we sold our house I moved at the end of July. So selling your own house in the first place, being a seller can be stressful and everything that's tied into that. And then being a realtor myself, selling my own house was a huge learning experience. Um, so I stage as well for my clients. So I the house was always kind of show ready in the first place, so that wasn't too much for me, but getting it ready for the market, prepping my family, doing all this, and then we we put our house on the market. We had put an offer in first, sorry, on our house that we are now in. Get our house on the market. We did it conditional on the sale of our home and home inspection, condition, and financing. So within the first couple weeks, we're getting a lot of showing, a lot of action on our house. And then it was actually Mother's Day. And I got a call from the listing agent saying, unfortunately, Kate, I have to do this today on Mother's Day, but you're put on notice. So I was quite stressed and then bummed because, we really love this house. We really, really want this house. Oh, this is terrible. It's happening. So, I had the paperwork kind of ready and signed in my folder there to just, you know what, we can't do this deal. It just won't come together. But I'm continuing to get showing requests and, people through realtor.ca and people texting me and emailing me about our house. So after a lengthy conversation with a couple of my brokers, we decided to waive our conditions. So I think for me, the emotional process of what that was, because most of my clients, when they're put on notice, most of them they get out of the deal. It's too risky for them if they have to sell their house.
Sure.
It's too risky for them. I don't know if it's going to sell and I can't own two homes. What is that going to look like for me? So it was a rough couple weeks for my husband and for my supportive staff there with me, but we got an offer, and the world works in mysterious ways. I said, well, all we need is an out-of-town cash buyer. I don't want a home inspection, all these other things, right? Because you know how things can come up out of it and you think a deal is going to go one way and then it goes the other. So, yeah, we got the offer we needed and we didn't have to waive and we were able to get the house that we're now in. Unfortunately, I mean, financing was fine, but we couldn't do the home inspection. And so I know certain people sit on certain thoughts on a home inspection, but pre-COVID, right? Like
Yeah.
you do a home inspection, you need to know the bones of the house. Now, the owners of this home, they were the only original owners and they had it built. So they knew a lot about the house and it was a well cared for house, only about 20 years old. So there's not much I was concerned about. And a lot of the big items like furnace, AC, roof, all that type of stuff had already been done. But it was quite an emotional experience. So I think going through it myself, you're empathetic for your clients anyways, but being in that exact position myself, I've now had buyers that have been put on notice, and I, in a respectful, professional way, explain to them what can happen. But being through it, I can really explain like what that feels like and what that looks like.
The
So yeah.
emotions of it, right? The
Oh, it was
fear and
something.
the
Yep, it was
jump. You
something.
got to take a jump right there.
You do. It's a huge risk. And obviously, because we had enough time to close on this house, I don't know what it was at that point. I don't know, maybe we still had 60 days or something. So I had a long time until I still had to close. But, the thought of, well, what if we don't sell it? Like, I have to sell this house. So I had to price drop a couple times, which I didn't want to do, but I ended up doing it. It all worked out in the end as things should. But
Yeah.
that was
But
quite an
it's nice
emotional
to
day.
have that other experience, right? That experience from what our clients are experiencing at that time when it's particularly stressful the way that went down. So it's
Yes.
kind of nice to be able to say to them, okay, you may feel, you may go through, right? And
Yep.
know,
Yep.
and knowing exactly what that feels like. I
Feels
think
like.
that's got to be helpful, right? That's what,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's very
absolutely.
cool. That's
Yeah, and I think if you're somebody that you're a risk taker in the first place, or if you're active in real estate, I mean, it's different for some people, but especially, if you haven't sold your house in a very long time, or if you're moving up, your family's growing, it is a big risk of the unknown. So yeah, it was very helpful.
That's good. That's very cool. That's a good story. So, do you have a favorite place? Oh no, that's not the one. Yes, maybe it is. Yes, it is.
Whatever, just fire them
Okay.
out.
Do you have a favorite place on earth?
A favorite place on earth? Oh my, that's a good question. Well, the beach is my place. I have a thing with water. I know there's a term for it. I can't remember what it is, but that's my calm, happy, tranquil place. But I think adding that in, possibly my favorite place on earth, I haven't traveled a lot, is the grotto. Have you ever been to the grotto at Cypress Lake up in the Bruce Peninsula?
I don't think so. No, that doesn't sound
So
familiar.
yeah, so it's like the water is crystal clear blue. It's freezing. It's numbing. You can't really swim, but pe people do. It's like nothing that you would see in Ontario. So I went there a lot as a kid, and that place, just the cliffs and the rocks and the water, and you can swim in through into this cave.
Oh, I like
It's amazing. Yeah. And now with because Tobermory is a cute little spot anyways, but now since COVID, it's very touristy.
that. Mm-hmm,
So to
mm-hmm.
get in, which is fine. I'm glad they're making money that way, and it's a busy spot, but you used to be able to just go drive into it's a provincial park, so you drive into the park and pay your fee and away you go. But now you have to book online like weeks in advance because it's so busy you can't get in. But it's a
Yeah.
cool.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
cool. I love those. Like I've never heard of that. So anytime someone answers that and it's a place I haven't been before, or it starts to sound really interesting, I mean, literally that evening I'm researching it going, when can I fit this in? Like,
Yeah.
because
Yeah. It's
yeah,
cool.
I love to travel. I love to travel. So I probably ask that question more for myself than anyone else. I I want to know where to go next. I mean, I
It's a
want to
good
see it
question.
all. I want to see it all. So, is there a person, alive or dead, that you would love to sit down and have dinner with and have a discussion?
Oh my. I don't know. Hmm. Alive or dead?
So I can help you narrow it down. A lot of people go with family. Other people go with, you know,
Some,
famous
s-
or very
yeah.
intelligent
Yep.
people in the world.
Yep. That's not where I'm leaning to. I'm leaning more towards family. So what I think, my Uncle Dave, so on my dad's side, my Uncle Dave died, years and years and years ago. Um, so I would love to sit down and talk with him because he was quite a character. So Dave Stenton, and I'll do a little connection with that actually too. It's just funny how the universe brings everything together.
Hmm.
So he was a great uncle. He was fun. He was funny. He used to like dye his hair bright blonde. And I always say to my kids, like, I wish you could have met your Uncle Dave. Well, great Uncle Dave, but my Uncle Dave. And Such a funny character. So he was always supportive of me when I was younger. So I think, leaving my previous career and taking a leap into real estate, he would have been supportive, and I'd like to talk to him about that. Um, I miss him, so it'd be great to see him again. But I had a deal that closed in December, and funny connection. So through our CRM, I had a lead that would message, and I'd send some emails, and we contact, and then I started showing her properties. And then as soon as I saw her, because the name looked familiar, as soon as I saw her, she goes, "Oh, you're Dave Stenton's niece." I said, "What?" And then she's like, "Oh my gosh, Kate." So just went off about like they used to drive to university together and how close friends they were, and just a really neat connection of all these things she knew about him that I had no idea. And so she was amazing to work with. Beautiful house we sold. She moved downsized, really nice house she got into. And her thank you card was very sweet and had a nice sentiment about how my Uncle Dave would feel as well. So there's many people I'd love to sit down with, but I think him, he would be,
Aw.
I'd like to see him again.
That's
Yeah.
really sweet. That's really sweet. And a lot of people go there. I think the emotional ties, make it a slam dunk when you want to see someone who is gone and you didn't have a chance to kind of
Yeah.
continue that. You want that spark back, that communication. That's really sweet.
Yeah.
I like that. Um, do you have a favorite pastime, hobby, sport? And you can actually like do more than one. Like
Okay.
obviously we all have stuff.
Okay. I'd like to get back into it. So I do work out, so fitness is a thing of mine, but
Mhm.
running. So I think there's something about when I would run in the morning and it's quiet in the morning, so the day isn't hustle bustle and traffic and
Started yet.
noise.
Hmm.
Yep. So I used to run really early in the morning. So that's a good hobby of mine. I like to run. I'm not crafty, so I don't really do any crafts or anything like that. I'd like to travel more. Um, a thing I'm learning. I mean, I've been with my husband now for almost 8 years, but he's an avid golfer. So I've been learning how to golf over the few years, and it's quite the sport. I enjoy it, and I love being outside. So it's a beautiful sport to kind of bring two and two together. Our girls are in the junior program at our club here in Chatham as well, and I like it. I like it. I play with a group of girls too, and it's fun. So that would be one, but it's a challenging sport, that's for
It can
sure.
be frustrating, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you can
absolutely.
feel like you're moving forward, and the minute you swing and that ball goes, you go, have I learned nothing? Have I learned
Yeah.
nothing here? Right? Like
It's
it is
all in
that
your
kind
head.
of, you feel like you're heading in the right direction and suddenly you feel like maybe someone kicked you in the shins. You go, what was it called? Where is the bar card, right?
Yeah,
Where'd it
exactly.
go?
Well, there's so much to think about. Where my shoulders are, how are my hips, how's
Oh,
my swing going to be?
a friend of
And it's
mine
all in your
once said
head.
watching me play golf is like watching me go through a list. Because I took a class at one point in time. So I do, and they said I can literally see her number one. She's doing this, she's doing that. She's like, and they go, it's like you're going through a list. I said, I am going through a
There
list.
is. There's a lot. Where are my feet? How is this? And you know what? By the time I get through it, I'm like, I don't care. And I just go up and smack the
Yeah.
ball.
It's like,
Away,
screw it.
away we
I'm just
go.
gonna swing. Like,
Yeah.
whatever. It's all
Whatever. Who
good.
cares?
Very good. So would you be able to describe yourself in 3 words?
I would say energetic. I run at a, not literally run like I did just talk about, but I run at a fast pace, so energetic.
Mhm.
Um, I think I am empathetic. I've always felt that I have a really strong connection with people and this really good intuition. I mean, it's all about connections, honestly, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's so much about this job. Yes, the selling factor and negotiations and all of that, but really, it's the connections you're making with people and those lifelong relationships that you want. So I think the fact that I'm empathetic, not even just that, experience I just talked about, us going through it, but when you can feel what they're feeling or you understand what they're feeling and what they're going through. And I have a good intuition and good connection with people. So I think that's always been something for me. Energetic, I'm empathetic, funny. People say I'm funny. Like,
Very
I
funny.
guess.
You're
So there's
very
good
funny.
sense of humor. That could be it. Yeah, I'd say those three.
Good. I know it's a hard one. I find it hard to
Yeah.
answer that question. And from day to day, I might answer it differently. And
Oh, I could fire off so many amazing things about other people, but when you have to do it on yourself, I'm like, oh, hmm,
wait a moment.
okay.
Let me put you on hold. I'll
Let
think
me think.
about it. All right. So, what nonprofit do you support? And you can pick more than one, obviously.
Well, obviously with the Royal LePage, we have the Shelter Foundation. So we have that. And then I've been trying to be active in our community. I have to be honest, with life and working kids, I haven't as much as I'd like. So um, the women's shelter here in town, I have a girlfriend that does a lot of stuff for them. So I try to help out when I can. Yeah, that's something I definitely need to be more active in for sure.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, the Women's Shelter or the Royal LePage Shelter Foundation supports women's shelters across Canada. And I don't think
Hmm.
it's exclusively women. I mean,
Yeah.
I suspect they'll end up changing the name at some point in time, and it'll be a victims
Yes.
shelter, something along those lines. I was watching the Westminster Dog Show. Since you have a puppy, I'll say this. Um, and they're trying to promote dog-friendly shelters, women's shelters, for those women who have pets at home. And
Oh, that's
you
good. We're
go
their
to exit
companion.
the house, you're thinking, but will the dog suffer from this? Will the cat,
Yeah.
whatever? Will my kids goldfish be okay? All of the
Yeah.
above.
Oh,
You
yeah.
don't feel like you can take them with you. So, and I don't know which shelters are or are not, but I know it's something that the Westminster Dog Show was pushing for. And I
Oh,
thought
good.
that's awesome. I think that we could almost feel a little partner-ish about that,
Yeah,
right?
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. So, and you said your community too. Well, that's good. I mean,
Yeah.
we all have to be involved in our community, and that's always a good way to go about it. Um,
Yeah.
so I want to thank you for doing this interview today. That's
Thanks
it.
for
That
having
was
me.
easy, right?
Yeah,
Did I tell
it's
you?
all good.
Did I tell you? So thank you very much for doing this interview. And I hope I'll see you soon.
Yeah, thanks for having
Something
me.
or other.
I know it was great to see you. I don't know what's going to happen. I know you weren't in Calgary when the last Nationals. It was fun. It was busy, but now with all these changes, it's supposed to be in Nashville next year, but I don't know. I don't know
Well,
what Phil's going to do.
yeah, and I just watched something Phil put out yesterday, and as far as he's concerned, it's going on. It's going on to Nashville. It's going to happen. So I
Okay.
mean, I'm sure that there's some mixed reviews about that. In
Yep.
the end, we'll find out if that was the
What
right thing
happens?
to do or not, right? We'll find out what happens. Yeah. So thank you, and I will see
Thank
you
you.
soon. Okay.
All right.
Take care, honey.
Bye.
Okay.
See
Bye.
ya.